Today we are with DEBRA Chantry, who is the owner and business coach, principal business coach of The Common, which is at number 1 Faraday Street, Parnell. I know because I've done a few events here. DEBRA, what brought you to The Common? How did your past have you be, as I look up to this nice little framed photograph here, this is your life, do what you love and do it often. And it really frames perfectly what you're doing here at The Common. But how did it get that? How did you get here?
So it all started probably close to about 12 years ago. So I left corporate world, I went out on my own, started my own business. For a couple of years, had a fantastically successful business, really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, that business kind of went belly up. And we put the business into liquidation in the end, into receivership. And it was because I had nobody to talk to. I wasn't really quite sure what I was doing. It was my first time in business. All these things happened. I wasn't sure what to do with them. And so at the end of that, having to put out of work 12 people and go through that awful process, being in Wynns on Queen Street in a pinstripe suit crying. It was not much fun. I said to myself, I don't want anybody to ever have to go through this. This is really
it's a very lonely business.
It's a very lonely business, but also just what happened afterwards. Like, all of that could have been prevented if I'd actually had some support, somebody just to have a sounding board of advice with, somebody I could actually just talk to. So I realised that, I was very alone in that situation, and maybe it could have been different if I'd actually had somebody to support me. So at that point I went, right, I don't want this to happen to anybody else. I unfortunately had to go back into corporate world because I had to regain all of the money I had lost in that business.
Not that there's anything wrong with corporate world.
Really?
No, I don't know. Kind of think, why are we doing what we're doing? Exactly,
No, there's nothing wrong. You're right. There's nothing wrong with corporate world. And to be perfectly honest, I've learned so much from being in corporate world. I wouldn't change it for the world. However, once you've had a taste of running your own business, to then go back into corporate world is actually quite challenging. But I did it 3.5 years, and I regained my confidence. I regained my money, got myself back on par, and I went back out again. And I started my own business. But this time around, it was about helping people so they wouldn't have to go through what I went through. So originally, it was coaching. And I did coaching for probably 6-7 years, and I love it. I love working with people on a personal basis. But I also realised that people can't always afford coaching. They can't always afford that one-on-one kind of coaching.
How do you give that help if there is no remuneration or money return?
So this is where The Common came about. So what I said was, okay, I cannot reach the number of people I want to reach to actually help them. I know not everybody can afford that one-on-one coaching with me. So how can I create an environment where they can actually achieve their professional and personal goals and get the support and have that safe space without necessarily having to take on board a coach? So The Common was, the idea behind The Common is it's a safe space, it's a place that you can come where you can engage with other people who are going through the same journey, or maybe been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and they can actually help you. So they will inspire you, they'll champion you, they'll support you, they'll help with your education, they'll be there through the good times and the bad, a bit like a Cheers bar, everyone knows your name and is there to look after you.
But wasn't there a person in Cheers who had 8 babies by the time the series finished? So it's fun. There's nothing going on here at The Common.
No.
And in terms of The Common, where did the name come from?
So The Common, so I'm British, just in case people don't know.
I think there might have been a beautiful accent, cultured accent there, but which is perfectly fine. Good on you.
And
Good
luck. A little bit of Australian as well, but so they're British. And I don't know if you guys know, but The Common was actually, it was a space within, so the wealthy people who had land, they were actually forced to provide a common space for the commoners to kind of meet and to exchange their wares and to have conversations and to basically form a community. And it was called The Common. And for those of you who are old enough, you might remember the Wombles of Wimbledon Common. And they were the little furry creatures that went around cleaning up the rubbish after the humans at The Common, where people would meet, engage, exchange wares, exchange stories. So that's where the name first came from.
Got it.
And then the tagline, the Entrepreneur's Playground, came because I was talking to a friend of mine about what we were trying to do, and I said it's not just about supporting, but I honestly believe people don't have enough fun in their lives, and how do we bring fun back into business? So I explained what we're trying to do here. He went, oh, you mean it's like a playground for entrepreneurs? It's like, yes, that's it. It's a playground for entrepreneurs. And so now it's called The Common, the Entrepreneur's Playground.
Now, if you are in New Zealand, if you're in Auckland, I really want to invite you to come and have just drop in. There's a little, what's over in terms about fun? We've got some
playground stuff there, so you can come and play. So again, I'm British. There's a dartboard. You can play some darts. You can play some basketball. We have actually also got board games and strategy games. I'm very much a big nerd around board games and whatnot. So the idea is that if you get yourself out of your normal everyday environment and you actually play, you become more creative and more inspired.
Got it.
Yep.
You talk about, is there a particular type of entrepreneur that you like coaching?
I think entrepreneur by its namesake means I probably enjoy coaching them anyway, because an entrepreneur is somebody who actually takes risks, somebody who takes on board that stuff themselves. So they're generally passionate about what they do. They know that they need some help, they're quite happy to accept help, and they just want to give back as well. So probably sort of a conscious sort of entrepreneur is the most appealing in terms of working within this space.
Is there a particular skill set that you bring that can really help them? Or if we go back to, you talked about you did your 6 years of business coaching.
Yep.
Was there a particular segment within the problems? I guess that all entrepreneurs face a particular problem. Was there a particular niche that you focused in?
So I think that, all entrepreneurs are sort of looking for growth in some way, shape or form, and what we often find is things holding us back. So if I think back to my failure, which was a great learning experience,
For sure.
There were things that I just didn't know right then that could have been helped, but I also think from a personal point of view, there was obviously some stuff going on within me as well that was actually holding me back. So my particular skill set is actually working through the business stuff. So how do we create a profitable, sustainable business thing, but also what's holding you back from actually doing what you need to be done? And so I look at the mindset and go, right, what are your core limiting beliefs? What is stopping you from doing what you want to do, as well as creating that business that you love and that is profitable and sustainable?
Someone we both know might have mentioned that that quote, if you have a problem in your business life, it's just a reflection of your personal life.
Absolutely.
So, so really the mindset piece is...
The mindset piece, very much so. And a lot of the people that I work with, they've got fantastic business ideas, they're really passionate about what they do, but there's something going on that's actually holding them back. And anything is possible, right? I look at this space here, and whilst it has its challenges and sometimes it's a roller coaster ride, I also look and go, I had this dream. Who would have thought that little old me could actually create this kind of environment, and yet here I am. So anything is possible.
Got it.
Yep.
Do you have a coach?
I do. In fact, I have several coaches. So I actually have a couple of different coaches for different reasons. So I have got a mindset coach. I've also got somebody who's doing a lot of work around myself, and because I'm human and I have these core limiting beliefs that sometimes affect me. I have a financial coach, because one of my areas where I'm very weak in, money means nothing to me. So it's like money, yeah, whatever, it'll all be fine. So I have a financial coach who just keeps me on the straight and narrow, and sometimes gives me that little bit of a wake-up call that I actually need. And then I have a person who is very much involved more in the systems and processes side, another weakness of mine. So sales and marketing is my fondness, so it's probably where I gravitate towards, but I have those other weak areas that I will get help with.
Got it. So would you suggest anyone watching who is thinking of getting a coach, do they focus on the weak points or the strong points? Because I'm clear that it's like you can get a coach who can manage everything, but they might be quite expensive. Is there you see some schools of thought say, should we focus on our weaknesses, just focus on your strengths? Which one should we focus on?
I think a bit of both, if I'm honest, and I think that so one of the services we actually offer here at the Commons, we've got a whole range of coaches. There's not just myself, there's other coaches on the board as well. And the idea is that we'll sit down and have a chat with you, find out where you're at, and then look for the best coach to actually match those needs. And we also do group coaching, because the whole reason we can offer this kind of not so expensive version of coaching is group coaching. And within those group coaching sessions, we'll actually switch out the coaches at different times. So you'll actually have access and exposure to a whole range of different coaches, different skill sets, because I think we all need different things at different points in our career.
For sure.
So a generalist coach, I would say, to start off with, in terms of understanding, what your real goals are, what you really want to create, what's holding you back, how do you get there, and then bringing in different coaches at different times that can actually help you. Yeah.
Does that relate to all different age groups as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I've worked with people who are literally straight from school, 17, 18 years old, who are looking to do something, but can get really lost, because what careers coaches and things are like at school. They can really confuse you at times. So I've worked with people at that age and at the startup phase, and then probably my oldest client would be 70s.
No, so I'm saying age, it's just a number, right?
But a lot of our entrepreneurial clients, particularly here in New Zealand, are actually those who've been in corporate for quite some time, and they reach, I hate using the term, but kind of midlife, and they kind of go, this isn't really working for me, I want to do something different, I'm not happy, and so they quit their jobs and they go off in search of something different, and we do a lot of work with those people. So anywhere between sort of 35 and 55, where they're suddenly going, no, this isn't what I want something different.
Got it.
Yeah.
Have you got it? I'm going to put you on the spot
Yes.
and ask you one of those inspirational stories, either someone that you've coached or you've seen go from, really small to, they've just blossomed and grown. Have you got, again, you don't have to name names or name the company, but what do you think was the key kind of point that got them past that little hurdle?
So I've got quite a number of great stories of people I've actually
Cool, let's lay them on.
Even if they're only for a short period of time. And this is the thing, I don't believe that you should have one coach for a long time. I actually think that each coach has a different thing to offer, coach or a mentor for that, for those purposes. So it should be a finite period of time before you move on. And I've had I've worked with people at the beginning of their careers who've now gone. One the other day just sold his business for $11 million. And I think when he first came in to see me, he was a one-man band. He was just starting out. He wasn't really quite sure what he was doing. So to see that business sell from $11 million makes my heart sing. And I've had others who have come in, again, very much in sort of startup mode with a couple of staff who thought that earning 50, 60K a year was kind of okay. And we realised that in order for them to get the freedom they wanted, they needed to actually grow the business so they could have a general manager on board. And I've seen businesses go from one or two people working sort of almost sort of part-time to now having close to 20 staff, dealing with the top 50 companies in the world, and finally has that freedom, because money's not everything. But what it does do is it gives you that freedom to actually move on. And it's interesting because people always sort of say, oh, I don't want to grow my business because that means more staff and more issues, more challenges. It's actually a proven fact that once you get past small business stage into more medium size, life actually becomes easier. So as much as possible, you actually want to look to grow to that next stage up. So yeah.
Cool.
And then we've had clients win awards and all sorts of stuff. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what awards they win, how much money they make. It's actually about seeing people finally doing something they're really passionate about, that they really, really enjoy day in, day out.
And we'll do it every day. I'm just going to look at that. I don't know. I'm not sure whether the camera can see that.
Do what you love and do it often. And if you don't like something, change it.
Come to the Common and see and to the team. Lastly, is there a particular time frame that you see on average for people who are just starting out and they get a coach before they start moving beyond some of those limiting beliefs or business challenges? Is there a particular time frame that you think?
It's generally around sort of 6 months you really start to see results. You'll see results in the first 2 or 3 months. You get some real quick wins on the board, which is nice, but in reality there is no magic silver bullet in anything that we do, and so it does take a little bit of time. But it should definitely be at the 6 month period you should be seeing significant change, and it's sort of time to go off and fly.
Okay, well, I'm just at the 6 month mark now, so I'm ready to fly.
Ready to fly, yay.
I'm ready to fly. I focus on businesses who use DIY video around their content marketing or video marketing.
Yes.
I've seen some of your work.
Yep.
Tell us about your experience in using video.
So as I said at the beginning, I was really, really nervous of using video. So part of my sort of core limiting beliefs is that I'm a bit stupid, I'm a bit of a failure, and so putting yourself onto video, oh my God, how will I look? And especially as a female, will I look fat on this? Will my double chin show? And all those sort of things. And what happens if I don't get it right? And will I look even more stupid? And so for a long, long time, I was like, no, I'm not doing video. And the only video I ever did was pre-scripted, pre-prepared video. And what I've learned is that stuff, it's okay for certain things, but it's not how people get to know you. And in actual fact, being on camera, I'll watch this probably later on tomorrow and go, oh my God, did I really say that? But the reality is, what you're seeing now is the real me. There is, you're actually getting to know me. So we've been using video to try and help people to get to know our team. And we've used it literally unscripted, put a camera up there, have these conversations, just talk about what's going on. And it's amazing how well that's actually received. And it's amazing how that versus doing posts, just plain old text posts or photo posts or whatever, video, it's far more engaging, and people, they do feel like, they'll come in here, they'll go, oh, I feel like I already know you, even though they haven't actually met you.
Yeah. Well, I remember, we look at email. I did a follow-up to our event the other day, and it had been up for about, I posted it maybe 2 hours ago, and I looked at the open rate and it was sitting at 6%. But I think as soon as you put in video inside at the top of that thing, it completely changes it.
Yeah.
Got it.
So that's been my, so I'm going to say, so I was really, really nervous, didn't want to do it. What I have learned is that actually, at the end of the day, some of the videos that I look at and kind of really critique myself and go, oh my God, can't believe you said that, can't believe you looked like that, how, look at the camera angle, how do they do that, have actually been the most well received. So you've got to get over yourself and just go, you know what, let's just do it. People enjoy seeing it.
Take imperfect action.
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
And a little bit more about the Common.
Yes.
In terms of what you see for the future. You also have an event space, right?
We do. So the Common was designed, I say, to be a safe space where you can actually come along, meet with other entrepreneurs, but also we want to help people in all the support we can possibly give them. So business coaching, group coaching, we have specialist suppliers, we have the workshop space, which is designed, so I'm looking over in the distance, that's where it actually is. It's designed to actually give people a platform to actually help them learn. So we run things like health and wellness seminars, we run classes, we do yoga classes, boxing classes, we've got a breathe class coming up. We do business seminars, and of course we work in with the likes of yourself to actually bring other types of educational workshops and
it's
seminars
also, you can also, did I see that you had a major retail brand in here filming the other day?
Yes, we did. We've had several major, so we had Harvey Norman in here shooting the other day, and we've had several TV programs shot in here as well, some that you may have seen, involving couples that may or may not have got together at some point.
It's quite an iconic building. It's almost, I mean, was it an old sheep building?
An old
wool store or something?
No, finished textile centre. So I don't know if you can see on the video, but there's actually gantries and cranes above, and this whole building was literally floor to ceiling, great big warehouse, no windows, nothing, just two big roll doors at the front, and all the finished textiles, such as the big rolls of carpet and things, were stored in here, and these cranes and gantries were actually like lift them across. And you probably can't see it, but there's actually a danger live wire sign along all of the gantries, and that was because they literally had copper wire running that actually powered these big cranes, and if you touched it, you were fried. I think it's probably the best. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But they're not live anymore.
They're not live anymore.
Thank goodness.
But I liked the sign because the danger live wires. It kind of it brings that whole element of a bit of fun because we certainly are. We can be a bit live around here sometimes. Yeah.
Got it. And going back to Britain, I just want to go back to Britain.
You
don't really say that.
Let's not go back to Britain.
Well, I know. Let's not go back to Britain. It's not Little Britain or Big Britain. When did you make the move from the British Isles to New Zealand or Australia?
I went to Australia first. So I actually moved when I was 19 years old. I moved to Australia. Spent probably close to 10 years.
So you've spent most of your time here in New Zealand, Australia, as a down under person.
I have now spent a significant amount more time in Australia and New Zealand than I have in the UK. That's right. Yes.
Got it. And
without giving away my exact age.
Well, I was just fishing. Do you have people that inspire you? People who, aside from your coaches and mentors,
yes.
Any people that you look up to that you want to share about?
I mean, Richard Branson is one of my absolute favourites. I just love the way that he has fun with what he does and the way that he sort of, believes people are the most important thing. I think we share similar philosophies. And I think on our bookcase, I've got a whole bunch of Richard Branson books in there, and they're always very inspiring. I also like the likes of Sheryl Sandberg, who's doing a lot around women in leadership and whatnot. I think that's a really exciting sort of area, and it's nice to see those people doing really well. Yeah, they're probably my two main ones, I'd say.
Got it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, DEBRA Chantry, for your insight into business coaching and particularly around the Common. And I know that it's a very large place. How many square metres?
We've got about 500 square metres here, and I mean the area we're sitting in at the moment is the library, which is the kind of quiet zone, and then it gets progressively noisier as you move further down the building. So the idea is you come in here and you use whatever space you need at that time. So
got it.
We're not being very quiet in here today, but I'm sure we'll be allowed.
Well, Fridays. Well, I think Katrina's not in today, so
that's right.
That's why it's not quiet. Yeah. And we have our two lovable.
Oh yes, you can't see them on video, but
Moggies walking around.
Moggies?
Moggies. No, dogs, pardon me.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and
Pleasure, thank you.
we look forward to seeing you more at the Common.